In the heart of the legal system, the courtroom serves as a battleground where power dynamics play a crucial role in the pursuit of justice. At the center of this unfolding drama are Judge Meredith Langford, a seasoned jurist known for her unwavering commitment to the law, and attorney Darnell Hayes, a passionate advocate determined to challenge the status quo. The courtroom is not merely a venue for legal proceedings. It is a complex arena where authority, respect, and accountability intersect. Judge Langford, with her decades of experience, wields significant influence, often commanding the respect of her peers and the courtroom attendees. However, her authority is not absolute, and it is here that Darnell Hayes steps into the spotlight, ready to confront the established norms that have long governed the judicial process. Hayes' challenge against Judge Langford is not just a personal vendetta. It represents a broader struggle for fairness and transparency within the legal system. As he navigates the intricacies of the courtroom, his determination to hold the judiciary accountable resonates with those who have felt marginalized by the very system designed to protect them. This confrontation is emblematic of the ongoing tension between established authority and the quest for justice, highlighting the importance of questioning the decisions made by those in power. The stakes are high, as Hayes seeks to expose potential biases and injustices that may have been overlooked, igniting a firestorm of debate about the integrity of the judicial process. As the narrative unfolds, the tension between Judge Langford and Darnell Hayes sets the stage for a gripping exploration of justice and accountability. The courtroom becomes a microcosm of society, reflecting the struggles faced by individuals seeking to challenge systemic issues. With each argument presented and each ruling made, the audience is drawn into a compelling story that raises critical questions about the balance of power, the role of the judiciary, and the relentless pursuit of truth. This courtroom drama promises to be an engaging exploration of the complexities of justice, where every decision carries weight and every voice matters. The Jefferson County Courthouse stands as a formidable structure, its imposing facade reflecting the weight of the justice system it houses. Within its walls, an oppressive environment looms, characterized by an undercurrent of tension and unspoken truths that permeate the courtroom. The air is thick with a sense of unease, as attorneys and defendants alike navigate a space where the stakes are high, and the consequences of failure can be dire. The atmosphere is charged, with whispers of discontent and apprehension echoing through the corridors, hinting at the struggles faced by those who dare to challenge the status quo. At the center of this charged environment is Judge Meredith Langford, whose reign over the court has been marked by a blend of respect and fear. With a judicial career spanning decades, Langford has established herself as a formidable figure, known for her strict adherence to the law and her no-nonsense approach to courtroom proceedings. Her historical context is steeped in a legacy of authority, having presided over numerous high-profile cases that have shaped the legal landscape of Jefferson County. This history has solidified her position as a gatekeeper of justice, but has also fostered an atmosphere where dissent is often stifled, and the voices of those seeking change are drowned out by the weight of her presence. Attorneys who enter her courtroom do so with a palpable sense of trepidation, acutely aware of the power dynamics at play. The respect she commands is undeniable, yet it is intertwined with an underlying fear of her unpredictable temperament. Many have witnessed her swift and decisive rulings, which can leave little room for negotiation or appeal. This duality creates a chilling effect, where attorneys may hesitate to voice their concerns or challenge her decisions, fearing the repercussions that may follow. The oppressive environment within the Jefferson County Courthouse thus becomes a reflection of the broader struggles within the legal system, where the quest for justice is often overshadowed by the weight of authority and the unspoken truths that linger in the shadows. In this courtroom, the battle for accountability is fraught with challenges, as the fear of retribution looms large over those who dare to speak out. Darnell Hayes emerges as a compelling figure in the courtroom drama, a defense attorney whose background and reputation set him apart in the legal community. Growing up in a neighborhood where justice often felt elusive, Darnell developed a fierce commitment to defending the underrepresented and marginalized. His journey through law school was marked by perseverance, fueled by a desire to ensure that everyone, regardless of their circumstances, had access to fair representation. Over the years, he has built a reputation as a tenacious advocate, known for his meticulous preparation and unwavering dedication to his clients. Colleagues respect him for his legal acumen, while opponents recognize the fire he brings to the courtroom, making him a formidable adversary. Darnell's current case against Judge Meredith Langford is fraught with significant stakes, not just for him but for his client, Tyrone Wills. Tyrone, a young man facing serious charges, stands at a crossroads that could determine the trajectory of his life. The implications of the case extend beyond the courtroom, They touch on broader issues of systemic injustice and the need for accountability within the judicial system. Darnell understands that his challenge against Judge Langford is not merely about winning a case. It is about confronting the entrenched power dynamics that often dictate the outcomes for defendants like Tyrone. The weight of this responsibility drives Darnell to push back against the status quo, even when the odds seem stacked against him. Fueled by a deep sense of justice, Darnell is determined to advocate fiercely for Tyrone, believing that the truth must prevail. He recognizes that the courtroom is not just a place for legal battles, but a platform for social change. Darnell's motivations are rooted in a desire to expose any biases or injustices that may have influenced the proceedings, and he is prepared to challenge Judge Langford's authority to ensure that Tyrone receives a fair trial. This determination to seek justice for his client, coupled with his own experiences and values, propels Darnell into a confrontation that could redefine not only Tyrone's future, but also the very principles of justice within the Jefferson County Courthouse. As the trial commenced in the Jefferson County Courthouse, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation and unease. Judge Meredith Langford took her seat on the bench, her demeanor exuding authority and an air of indifference that set the tone for the proceedings. From the outset, it became clear that her dismissive attitude towards Darnell Hayes' objections would shape the dynamics of the courtroom. As Darnell presented his case, passionately arguing for the rights of his client, Tyrone Wills, Judge Langford often interrupted him with curt remarks, signaling her impatience. Her dismissive gestures, rolling her eyes or tapping her pen, communicated a clear message. She had little regard for Darnell's attempts to challenge her rulings. The courtroom dynamics reflected a troubling bias that seemed to favor the prosecution, with Judge Langford's rulings often leaning heavily against Darnell's objections. Each time Darnell sought to introduce evidence that could potentially exonerate Tyrone, Langford would swiftly deny his requests, citing procedural technicalities or questioning the relevance of his arguments. This pattern of behavior not only undermined Darnell's efforts, but also reinforced a sense of injustice that permeated the room. Observers could feel the palpable tension as Darnell fought to maintain his composure in the face of Langford's apparent bias, which seemed to stem from her long-standing reputation as a strict enforcer of the law, often at the expense of fairness. As the trial progressed, the growing tension between Darnell and Judge Langford became increasingly evident. Darnell's frustration mounted with each ruling that seemed to dismiss his legal expertise and undermine his client's defense. He began to challenge her authority more directly, raising his voice in protest against her decisions, which only seemed to provoke Langford further. The courtroom became a battleground, with Darnell standing firm in his commitment to justice while Langford maintained her unyielding stance. This escalating conflict not only highlighted the power dynamics at play, but also underscored the broader implications of a judicial system where bias could overshadow the pursuit of truth. As the trial unfolded, it became clear that the clash between Darnell and Judge Langford would not only define the fate of Tyrone Wills, but also challenge the very foundations of justice within the courthouse. Darnell Hayes approached the challenge of exposing Judge Meredith Langford's bias with a calculated strategy, keenly aware of the delicate balance required in the courtroom. His observations of Langford's contempt and unfairness were astute. He noted how her demeanor shifted when addressing the prosecution compared to her interactions with the defense. Darnell recognized that her dismissive attitude towards his objections was not merely a reflection of her personality, but indicative of a deeper bias that could jeopardize his client's right to a fair trial. He meticulously documented instances where Langford's rulings favored the prosecution, creating a record that would serve as the foundation for his case against her. In the courtroom, Darnell employed strategic objections designed to highlight Langford's unfairness without directly confronting her authority. Each objection was carefully timed, aimed at drawing attention to her inconsistencies while maintaining a respectful tone. For instance, when Langford denied his request to introduce critical evidence, Darnell would calmly articulate his reasoning, framing his objections in a way that invited the jury to question the fairness of the proceedings. The reactions from the courtroom were mixed. Some jurors appeared intrigued by Darnell's persistence, while others seemed uncomfortable with the tension that was building between him and the judge. The prosecution, sensing the shift in dynamics, often exchanged nervous glances, aware that Darnell was not backing down. Darnell understood the importance of patience and timing in his strategy. He knew that a direct confrontation with Judge Langford could backfire, potentially alienating the jury and jeopardizing his case. Instead, he chose to bide his time, waiting for the opportune moments to challenge her rulings. This approach allowed him to build a narrative that showcased Langford's bias without appearing combative. By remaining composed and focused, Darnell aimed to create a sense of unease regarding Langford's impartiality, subtly planting seeds of doubt in the minds of the jurors. His strategy hinged on the belief that justice could be achieved not just through aggressive tactics, but through a measured, thoughtful approach that would ultimately expose the truth. As the trial progressed, Darnell's patience began to pay off. As the courtroom dynamics shifted, and the tension between him and Judge Langford became increasingly palpable. The atmosphere in the Jefferson County Courthouse shifted dramatically when federal agents made their unexpected entrance, their presence commanding immediate attention and sparking a wave of murmurs throughout the courtroom. Dressed in dark suits and badges prominently displayed, the agents moved with purpose, their serious expressions contrasting sharply with the tense yet routine proceedings that had unfolded moments before. The sudden arrival of these federal officials sent a ripple of shock through the room, drawing the eyes of jurors, attorneys, and spectators alike. Gasps echoed softly as the agents approached the front of the courtroom, and an air of uncertainty settled over everyone present, as if the very foundation of the trial had been shaken. The significance of the arrest warrant for Judge Meredith Langford became apparent as the lead agent stepped forward, announcing the charges against her. The courtroom fell into a stunned silence, the weight of the moment sinking in. Darnell Hayes, who had been tirelessly working to expose Langford's bias, felt a surge of vindication mixed with disbelief. This was not just a personal victory. It was a pivotal moment that could redefine the entire trajectory of the trial. The implications of the arrest warrant were profound, suggesting that the very judge who had presided over Tyrone Will's case was now under scrutiny for her own actions. The courtroom dynamics shifted dramatically as the power balance that had long favored Langford began to crumble. As the agents moved to apprehend her, the tension in the room escalated. Darnell watched as Langford's composed facade cracked, revealing a flicker of vulnerability. The once dominant figure in the courtroom now appeared cornered, her authority undermined by the very system she had upheld. The jurors exchanged bewildered glances, their perceptions of justice and fairness suddenly thrown into disarray. This moment marked a seismic shift in the courtroom's power dynamics, as Darnell seized the opportunity to reinforce his arguments against Langford's bias. The arrest not only challenged her credibility, but also illuminated the broader issues of accountability within the judicial system. As the agents led Langford away, the courtroom buzzed with a mix of disbelief and anticipation, signaling a new chapter in the trial that would reverberate far beyond the courthouse walls. As the federal agents moved to arrest Judge Meredith Langford, the atmosphere in the courtroom shifted from tense anticipation to outright disbelief. The lead agent, with a steady voice, detailed the charges against her: corruption, abuse of power, and obstruction of justice. Each word hung heavily in the air, reverberating through the room as the implications of her arrest began to sink in. The once commanding presence of Langford, who had ruled the courtroom with an iron fist, now appeared fragile and vulnerable, her authority stripped away in an instant. The jurors, who had been observing her with a mix of respect and fear, now exchanged shocked glances, grappling with the reality that the very judge they had trusted was facing serious allegations. Darnell Hayes stood at the forefront of this unfolding drama, his heart racing as he processed the significance of the moment. His relentless pursuit of justice had led to this pivotal turn of events, and he felt a surge of vindication wash over him. Darnell had long suspected that Langford's rulings were influenced by biases and personal agendas, and now with the federal agent's intervention, the truth was finally coming to light. He had meticulously documented her unfairness throughout the trial, and now it seemed that the system was beginning to hold her accountable. Darnell's role in this unfolding narrative was not just as an attorney defending his client, Tyrone Wills. He had become a catalyst for change, challenging the very foundations of a judicial system that had allowed such abuses to persist. The shock and disbelief among the courtroom attendees were palpable. Spectators whispered among themselves, their expression a mix of astonishment and confusion. Some were visibly shaken, unable to reconcile the image of the respected judge they had known with the reality of the charges being leveled against her. The prosecution, once confident in their position, now appeared rattled, their case against Tyrone Wills overshadowed by the unfolding scandal. As Langford was led away in handcuffs, the courtroom buzzed with a sense of urgency and anticipation, signaling a dramatic shift in the pursuit of justice. This moment would not only redefine the trial but also serve as a stark reminder of the importance of accountability within the judicial system, leaving everyone present to ponder the implications of what had just transpired. The immediate consequences of Judge Meredith Langford's arrest sent shockwaves through the Jefferson County Courthouse, fundamentally altering the trajectory of the trial against Tyrone Wills. In the wake of the stunning developments, the prosecution found itself in a precarious position. With the integrity of the judicial process now under scrutiny, the charges against Tyrone were swiftly dismissed. The courtroom erupted in a mixture of disbelief and relief as the judge's gavel struck down the prosecution's case, signaling an end to the proceedings that had loomed over Tyrone's life for far too long. The dismissal was not just a legal victory. It was a profound moment of liberation for Tyrone, who had endured the weight of false accusations and the threat of incarceration. As the reality of his newfound freedom sank in, Tyrone felt an overwhelming emotional release. Tears welled in his eyes as he turned to Darnell Hayes, who had fought tirelessly on his behalf. The bond between them deepened in that moment, forged through shared struggles and the relentless pursuit of justice. Darnell, too, experienced a wave of emotion, a mixture of triumph and relief flooding over him. He had believed in Tyrone's innocence from the beginning, and now, standing in the courtroom, he felt a sense of vindication for both himself and his client. The weight of the world seemed to lift as they embraced, the culmination of their efforts manifesting in a moment that would forever change their lives. Beyond the immediate implications for Tyrone and Darnell, Langford's arrest carried broader ramifications for the justice system itself. The incident exposed the vulnerabilities within the judicial process, highlighting the need for accountability and transparency. It served as a wake-up call for those within the legal community, prompting discussions about the importance of checks and balances in the judiciary. The case would likely spark investigations into other judges and practices, igniting a movement toward reform that sought to ensure that such abuses of power would not go unchecked in the future. As Tyrone walked out of the courthouse, a free man, the echoes of Langford's arrest reverberated through the halls of justice, signaling a pivotal moment in the ongoing struggle for fairness and integrity within the legal system. The courtroom drama surrounding Judge Meredith Langford and attorney Darnell Hayes culminated in a series of key events that underscored the critical importance of accountability within the justice system. From the outset, the tension between Darnell and Langford highlighted the often overlooked power dynamics that can influence legal proceedings. Darnell's relentless pursuit of justice for his client, Tyrone Wills, ultimately led to the shocking arrest of Langford, revealing the systemic issues that can arise when authority goes unchecked. The dismissal of charges against Tyrone not only marked a significant victory for Darnell, but also served as a powerful reminder that the pursuit of truth and fairness must prevail, even in the face of formidable opposition. This courtroom saga teaches us invaluable lessons about the necessity of holding those in power accountable. It emphasizes that the integrity of the judicial system relies on transparency and fairness, and that individuals must be vigilant in questioning authority when it appears to falter. The events also encourage viewers to reflect on the power dynamics present in their own lives, whether in the workplace, community, or personal relationships. Recognizing these dynamics can empower individuals to advocate for themselves and others, fostering a culture of accountability and justice in all spheres of life. As we conclude this exploration of the courtroom drama, we invite you to engage further with our content. If you found this narrative compelling and insightful, please consider subscribing to our channel for more in-depth discussions on justice, accountability, and the intricacies of the legal system. Your support helps us continue to bring important stories to light and encourages meaningful conversations about the issues that matter. Don't forget to like this video and share it with friends and family who may also benefit from these insights. Together, we can foster a community that values justice and accountability, ensuring that the lessons learned from this courtroom drama resonate far beyond the walls of the courthouse. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to bringing you more engaging content in the future.